Getting back to my New Year's resolutions for teams, let's go to the LA Lakers. I don't know, man. And JJ Redick said this is going to be an uncomfortable practice. And right after practice, DeAndre Ayton said, y'all really bought into that? I cannot believe how many just overall sound clips DeAndre Ayton has given us in the last like 3 years or so. Even if it wasn't the most uncomfortable practice, as JJ Redick said it would have been, you can't just throw your coach under the bus, right? Y'all believed in that. Y'all bought that. That's just the wrong answer. Anyway, my New Year's resolution for them, and this may feel counterproductive, is don't let these recent struggles change the overall game plan. It is easy to look at the Lakers, who were just a 2 seed not too long ago, look at them being on a 3-game losing streak as I record this episode, see some of the games they've lost being like getting blown out on Christmas from the Houston Rockets, and think that you have to shift the overall game plan. And in my mind, the game plan for the Lakers, since they've acquired Luka Doncic, is to just be good enough right now to be competitive and make the postseason, but look a little bit down the line and say, hey, in 2027, we'd be able to build the team around Luka. There's a conversation we had on Numbers on the Board a few days ago where I personally don't believe that this current team is built for Luka. It's just the team that was built that acquired Luka. They did go out there and get an Aiden who has been fine, right? He's been more than fine, I would say, given where he was just last season in Portland and all. Marcus Smart has allowed them to play a little bit of a higher level of defense when he's on the court. He's still giving you that passion and love to the defensive side of the ball that we see him give for the majority of his career. But for the most part, this team has not been built for Luka just yet. And the avenue to build yourself for Luka is really tough. And that's why we haven't seen him try to pull off a huge trade just yet. And it would be easy for Rob Pelinka or for the Lakers to look at their limited amount of draft capital, look at some of those contracts that they've accumulated between Vanderbilt, between Vincent, between the list goes, Maxi Kleber, and say, hey, man, we package some of this up. We can go get an impactful player right now. And I'm looking at what the market is and the lack of players that are available, because even the guys that we thought were really available, the Giannis's or the Anthony Davis of the world, they may not be available at all. And I could see you easily saying we package all this together and we go get this impactful player. And I'm struggling to figure out A, who that player would be, and B, would that player be impactful enough for me and us to look at the Lakers and say they can win 4 series in the postseason. I just don't see that. So it feels like a year that would be a bridge year, and be okay with it being a bridge year. At the end of the day, you got Luka Doncic on the contract for a few more seasons. He seems pretty okay and happy as of right now. And if you can convince him, give me a year and a half's time, and I promise you, we build the team around you that you can feel empowered. Or of course, he feels empowered. He's leading the league in scoring, but you feel like this is a team that can compete. So be it. Just don't rush this process. Just don't. Because I'm, again, just looking at the teams like, okay, who's available? Is that guy? If just in hypothetical world, the most available guy that is the best available guy on the market, if he was traded to the Lakers today for the package they give up, do you think that that's going to change them to be in the conversations with the Thunder or be in the conversation with Desi? Probably not. So let's chill. It's like maybe kind of tough to do when you got a 40-year-old Brian on the team. Who knows what's going to happen there? But I'm thinking that you have to think more long-term right now, because if you make the bigger decision now and you acquire somebody and give up majority of your assets to get there, and you still are behind some of these teams, then again, you just set yourself back. So don't do it. This is not a New Year's resolution for this team. And maybe I'm just out of the know. It's really, really possible. But I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Whew, do I want to say this? Yeah, I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves and I say, I'm starting to open up to the idea of trading a guy like Naz Reid in order to improve the overall point guard play. And the reason I'm saying this has nothing to do with Naz Reid not playing his best basketball right now. As I said at the beginning of the season, whatever happens with Naz Reid, I'm giving him a full pass on the season. He is still averaging 14, 6, and 3 on decent enough splits. But given everything that happened in the offseason with him and his family, I couldn't imagine traveling every single day for my career and having to play basketball. So again, I'm not even thinking about him as the player, but I'm thinking about the construction of this team. And thinking about how some of these lineups that they have to go to, in between when it is a Julius Randle and it is Naz Reid on the court, and just looking at how much that hemorrhages possessions for the opposing teams and shots for the opposing team. And I'm like, man, as good as Naz Reid is, and he would be a valuable asset in the overall trade market if you were trying to acquire a point guard, I may feel okay with trading him away. Now the problem is, what does that team look like? Who is the buyer of Naz Reid in order to give you a point guard? I don't really know, right? I'm just speaking in generalities at this point. But going to the season, I was like, yeah, there's no real world where like a Naz Reid has felt so ingrained in the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he still is, don't get me wrong, that he feels like a guy that would have been out of trade conversations regardless of what his production was, because the city is Naz Reid. Naz Reid is the city. But now as I sit back and I watch this team play, and I'm like, yeah, they could use some help there. And because of, I won't use the word overlapping skill sets, but the pieces of their bigs not fitting like a puzzle time and time makes me feel like that may be a little bit more expendable. Again, it's not a New Year's resolution, but it's just a thought that I had a few nights ago as I was watching them play. Moving on to the next team, the Houston Rockets. My New Year's resolution to them is to just keep this starting unit that they've been running out. Now, Şengün missed the last game, and that was a Kevin Durant explosion, 30 points, and a really efficient. It felt like I was watching 2011 Kevin Durant again, 2013 Kevin Durant. But keep the unit that is Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith-Jr., Tari Eason. I'm okay with Josh Okogie not being in that unit. And if we can keep Tari Eason healthy, this feels like their best combination of talent to start a game and to close a game. And I think a lot of that boils down to Tari Eason being as lethal as he is from three right now. And teams still have not respected his jump shooting. And it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, when you have a Kevin Durant, you have an Alperen Şengün, these guys who in the half court on any given night can, deserve a double team. We're okay with Tari Eason taking that three. The man is shooting 49% from three. I don't think that's sustainable that he's going to end the season shooting almost 50% on threes on 4.5 attempts. But I do feel like this is a real three-point shooter, right? I do believe he's a 40% three-point shooter at the minimum. So him being able to knock down those shots and him being able to still stir up so much trouble on the defensive end. I made the tweet yesterday from their previous game that anytime he sees a loose ball on the court, he looks like Jeff Hardy jumping off the turnbuckle, bro. He is jumping out of the gym. That loose ball is his regardless. And in the 203 minutes that him and Amen Thompson have played together, as you can imagine, they have a net rating of a plus 9.5 according to Data Baller. And you feel that while they are on the court. This team really guards up. And he is one of the few true offensive shooting threats on the team. And don't get me started. I'm sorry. If we just look at overall minutes, it's a plus 14.2. I was looking at the high leverage minutes. But overall, they've been amazing. And if we let me just add the one guy here into this, and I'm doing this on the fly. And I have not looked at these numbers. If we add the other shooter, yeah, I mean, this Reed Shepherd added to that unit. And again, I'm not even just talking about the star unit anymore. Reed Shepherd added to that unit. This is where you get your shooting. This is not going to be a team that's going to shoot a bunch of threes. We've known that has not been their identity. And the superstar they traded for, Kevin Durant, just don't shoot enough threes. He's never shot enough threes for his type of production. But if we could just have the few three-point shooters that we do have and have them go out and hit efficiently, then it's a win. I also didn't realize Kevin Durant's three-pointers per game right now, his 44% from three, golly, he's efficient. His 4.5 attempts from three right now is the lowest he's shot in attempt-wise since 2012-13 in over a decade. And I just don't know what that's about. I've always wanted to see a year where Kevin Durant, this is never going to be him. He's 37, for God's sakes, Kenny. He's never going to do this. But if we can have a year where Kevin Durant shot 9 3-pointers, I mean, even 10 3-pointers a night, can you imagine the type of production we can get from KD? It's just probably not going to happen. It's just probably not going to happen. And 10 3-pointers don't even sound like a lot to me no more. 10 3-pointers a game just feels like a normal shooter on any given team. A guy that has an ultimate green light. And Kevin Durant just has not done that. Yeah, we know what his bread and butter is. I'm looking at it right now. 3-point attempts per game. If he shot 10, never mind. If he shot 10 a game, that will put him top 5. Okay. So it's super unrealistic to see for him. But he's almost 40 years old. But no, I've been loving the Houston Rockets. Obviously, they did have the little portion where they've been struggling to close out games. And I think that's part of the growing pains of acquiring a guy like Kevin. We have had a few games where he has closed it out for them, but sometimes he feels kind of outside of the action where it becomes Şengün. And it feels like we haven't had many end of game situations where it was close, where both of them were involved in the action, and we try to pick our poison as the defense. And I think that will come with time. This is kind of like the growing pains part of the season. It's hard for me to overreact right now. Now, if we were talking about how clutch or the lack of clutch possessions or the lack of clutch intensity later in the season, then we can really talk about it.